This interview is about celebrating your history and doing it while you're here, giving you your roses, and not waiting for after you to be going to celebrate your history. And also let you speak your history for yourself, which is even more important.
$1 billion ambition. It's the mind frame, the dedicated drive that's designed to breed progress.
This is another My Lessons Instilled from Experience edition.
Oh, na, 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 yeah, yeah. Oh, now, now. Oh, now.
And this is the history of series.
First of all, thank you for, letting me do this interview.
You're welcome.
Introduce yourself for the people.
Greetings. I'm Tashawn's mom. He is my elder seed, my elder male seed. Um, I guess the title Miss Bean, Sister Bean, Mrs. Bean has always been who I am uh, when people address me.
All right.
So, yeah.
The founder of the Rafeiki African Dance Company, Incorporated, correct?
Absolutely correct.
So, the first question I want to ask about your history with the dance group is, was there African programs before you came about?
There were, but ours are so unique. Ours was so unto itself. Um, I wasn't a professional dancer. I was an entertainer. I knew how to dance. I had dance classes from 3 to 18, but I didn't pursue dance as a profession. But I am African and it lives in you. I just took it to a whole other level. That's what I
All
did.
right. So let's break it down from the beginning. So, what was the first step in the origins?
Rafiki started out of an elementary school that you were in Greensboro, North Carolina, by the name of Jones. Spanish immersion, cultural arts. It was a magnet school. And before you had gone to that school, Washington Street School was where you were. And I had gotten myself involved in a elder adult education mentoring program and the PTA, because I believe that every parent needs to know what their babies are doing. And it took me to Jones. And at Jones, we had done, well, I joined the PTA there too. Wherever I was, wherever you were, wherever your brother was, I always joined the PTA because you have to be involved. You have no choice. You have your baby are where your baby is in school. You need to be a part of what's going on.
Definitely.
So I asked them because I saw what the population consisted of, and meaning the dynamics of the student population. And at both the schools, it was majority African American.
Right.
And they had lots of programs, but it wasn't until I did a Black History program at the school. And at that age, your godmother, Zeta yours, was going to Jones, and she said, you are so artistic and creative. He can't help it. This is his DNA. But
Definitely. In the
you
family.
know what? Absolutely, please. It would be great, I think, for and she was absolutely on point. She was absolutely, it was the best fit for you. Spanish immersion, arts and artistic creativity, like, oh my goodness. So you blossomed at this school. But in the meantime, between time, there was a void in the school. I watched the dynamic and I watched the programs that the babies were exposed to.
Right.
So I took, because I had retired from entertaining to have you, so I had given up my career. But like I've been told, once an artist, always an artist. You'll find a way somehow. And my
Right.
finding its way was I developed this creative, artistic dance, called it African dance because the music that it was based on was authentically. Um, and we auditioned some babies after school. That was it was going to be just an after school program, and it blew up. It
Right.
So I had every dynamic population that was at that school in the dance class, and then summertime came, school's ending, and they didn't want to go. They didn't want to leave. Like,
Right.
where can we go and get some more of this?
Right.
So it wasn't just the students that were asking this question. The staff said to me, Miss Bean, it would be really, really a good thing if we could continue this thing after school ends. So I went next door where there was a community center, asked permission, and Rafeiki African Dance was born.
It was in demand. As soon as you introduce the situation to them, you was in demand one time right afterwards.
I don't, well, I get, if that's how you want to word it, demand, I don't know. But I know that there was a void. There was a need for something that they can identify with, something that they can identify to.
Right.
And it fit like a glove. So the first question that I asked every single person, and like I said, this was a magnet school, so they had everybody. The population of Greensboro that decided to put their baby in the Spanish immersion cultural arts school, elementary school,
Jones.
was
Right.
that's right, was the population of the school. So there were rich people, other than white people, Asian people, Latin people, everybody you could think of was in this. But the majority of the students
Was
were
black.
neighborhood babies, and those were African American babies.
Right.
So I asked everybody the same question. They didn't say no. They all answered it. I said, "Are you African?" That was a simple question. And I'm talking about starting with 4-year-olds and elementary school. So what is that, 4 to 9 or 10 years old? So the ones that came, and they all answered the same question. And they all, I don't know if they were following the leader or whatever, but it made my heart fill with joy because they all said yes simultaneously.
Right.
It made me feel good. So I didn't get a negative feedback from the parents, meaning the babies didn't go home and say, guess what this lady asked me at school.
Right.
you know so I figured that in order to get the overstanding as to how I wanted to move on with this, I needed to get a foundation. I needed to get
Right.
a fundamental. So it was ironic that we had a mixture. I mean, a beautiful blend. Some of the pictures prove it. Um, that joined the dance class
Mm-hmm.
that extended. Now the summer has come. I say, okay, if this is going to be a thing, I've got to get something to tag onto this. So Rafiki is Swahili, and it means friends.
Right.
African Dance Company, because it was more than just a class, it was more than just a course.
Right.
And I wanted it to be something that I can always maintain, no matter who it was in it, what age group they were. And I needed to incorporate a lot of things in this, not
Right.
just dance.
Right. Even though it meant friends, it was a
Hmm.
family thing.
It really was.
All right. So, what inspired you to create the company, and what was the purpose after you saw that it was a void that needed to be filled?
The African component was foremost in my heart because on my journey, this evolution called life, I had reached a place where I knew that I, first of all, needed to give back. You
Right.
know, all the things that I had learned, my life skills, the experiences, I needed to give back. But why? How? I didn't know. But I was guided. Seriously. My guides have been with me since forever. And this time they were in overload. My ancestors said, okay, you have this ability. We need to go to the next level. So
So I
I
believe you
decided,
because it did just happen like that.
yeah, it really did. Um, I believe that I was going all around to different, you know, situations, places, and we were missing. There's a chunk, there's a big, big, big chunk
Right.
of what being African is, was, should be.
Black
And
history.
Black History Month showed it to me out loud and in living color. Because during Black History Month, the response was overwhelming. I said, there you go. There's the void right there. So
We
the
needed
more,
that. We needed that black empowerment.
oh
You know,
my goodness.
this early '90s. You know, mid '90s.
Yeah, we're in Greensboro, North Carolina. Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Down south, redneck land.
okay.
That's right.
And Greensboro itself had its own history. So
Yep. Civil
from
rights.
right. So from this whole component, I'm saying to myself now, we needed to do something that's going to elevate the understanding of who they are that lives with them for the rest of their being. And I
And
knew it had
even
to be
though,
more.
not to cut you off,
Sure,
pardon.
sure, 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 sure.
And even though, you know, they're youth, so everybody's not going to do exactly what they told every single way. But just like you said, in the long run, everybody that you encounter, they remember your teachings. That's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely. And I think it's because we did put the African dance with it. Because one of our very, very, very first programs that we ever did was a African wedding ceremony.
Mm.
And they had never seen anything like that before. We had African authentic garb, meaning clothes. We had
Right.
the traditional wedding ceremony itself, and I did a lot of research, you know, because that's my thing,
Right.
um, to understand exactly how I can consolidate a lot of different methodologies to make one. And it was received so overwhelmingly well. I said, okay, I think
And
this is it.
that was still at Jones. Or
We were at Warnerville when that happened.
right, right,
Yeah, we were at Warnerville when that happened. That very first one, because it was so ironic that we were in the process of doing October, I'm sorry, homecoming.
mm-hmm. Parade.
It was a shock. It was a total shock. You know, they were little people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was amazing. I'd never done anything like that before, you know, and it was received like I never thought possible. From October to December, when we began Kwanzaa,
Right,
our popularity had elevated. So now I'm going to move from Warnerville, and now we're going around to Calclude. And
right,
that's when the magic started. That's when the magic started. The
right.
director at that time was a drama person. So she understood the arts like no one that I had encountered before. And
Yeah.
because she was the director of she like, yeah, whatever you need to get done, because she saw the numbers, the amount of little people that I had that made this company. So it encouraged her to go to whoever she's supposed to get the city to say, yes, you know, this is a great thing. So the
Right.
Calclude Rafeiki African Dance Company, that was our home base for a few years. And it was the start. It was the beginning of the big, big, big thing.
Now
That
you
rough.
being from Bermuda, Cal Clue, you know, that's right in the back of Smith Homes. That's a notorious neighborhood in the city. But you know, you was all about educating the youth about Black history, even the people that wasn't even a part of the dance company, because you was in Cal Clue, but you had your own situation. You wasn't part of the whole, you know what I mean? But even people that came into there, you was willing to teach them. And I think right there, that was like some real Black leader community type of activist type of thing. From looking at it now, that's how I look at it. In the
Mm-hmm.
community, the real hood, with the youth, you know what I mean? And the young sisters, you know what I mean? They had great parents, but you was adding on because, you know, it takes a village to raise a child and all that. And you really like made an impact on a lot of people's lives, everybody that was involved, whether it's the kids or people that wasn't even in the company, but they was in the building. Everybody was getting a little African history, and you know what I mean. And that's self empowerment, you know what I mean. So that's why I say that to say that.
Right.